Well, folks, here we are. The top 10 films that I downright despise this year. And just like I mentioned in my previous video, I haven't seen every movie that came out, but that's a good thing when it comes to these awful films because these movies on this list, they made me angry, bored, or a combination of the two. And I must say, quite frankly, to quote the late Roger Ebert, no bad movie is short enough, and that is the absolute truth when it comes to these films. So let's just get down to it. Number 10. Alright, to start off this list is a film that I knew was going to be bad months even before it came out in theaters, just because of the look of the trailer and all that. That is Jurassic World Dominion. Seriously, what the hell was this movie? They take the three cast members from the Jurassic Park movies, and then they fuse them with this, and it's two separate stories, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. The action was boring, the characters made stupid decisions, and quite frankly, I just didn't care about this movie whatsoever. And one thing I was also thinking, I hope this is the end of the Jurassic World franchise. So because, what's left? Just end the franchise because quite frankly, this franchise is running on fumes at this point. Number 9. The next film on this list generally bored me so much I really wanted to walk out of the movie, and that is Moonfall. Seriously, what was this film? The boring characters, the stupid decisions, the whole plot. And at one point, Roland Emmerich, she actually made some great films, but this is probably one of the worst movies he's done. And everything I was trying to understand is like, this movie is it's quite frankly not worth the time. And I was like, this film right here just largely should be forgotten. Number 8. Okay, so this next entry on this list, it was a character from MCU that was suspected for a long time until this film, that is Thor Love and Thunder. Seriously, what was this movie like? Quite frankly, I was really asking myself that. How they made Thor into a buffoon, how there's character actions that don't make any sense, and how this movie was too much on the comedy side and not for the better. Personally, I couldn't stand this film. I didn't like what it represented. And certainly it's one of the weaker films of Phase 4. And I have said this in the past, Phase 4 is my least favorite phase, probably. And quite frankly, I was like, Thor should be much respected in this. And this movie just flat out was not my thing whatsoever. Number 7. Alright, so up next is a film that was directed by the same director who had done Dark Phoenix. And so it's no surprise, it's the 355. Literally, this movie sucked ass in so many ways. Even with an all-star cast, you think that would save the film? No, not in this one. Seriously, character decisions were stupid, the plot was boring, and this was a lazy screenwriting. I was really asking myself, this movie's probably going to be in my top 10 worst list. And I was right because I just didn't like what this movie represented. And quite frankly, I was just, what can I say, I was poor out of my mind. When it comes to spy films, this one could have been something more, but it just turned into a huge disaster. Number 6. Okay, so at number 6 is a film generally I did not like whatsoever. That is Firestar. Like, literally, this movie pissed me off because the character decisions, the acting was over the top. And quite frankly, the story at large was just downright disastrous. I don't know what happened. I thought someone in Hollywood was like, we should probably remake the 1984 film, but with less substance. Like, literally, I did recently just looked at the 1984 movie, and that is miles better than this. It's not a masterpiece, but at least that one is far more entertaining than this movie. Number 5. Well, this next film on this list is just another atrocious video game movie, that is Uncharted. Seriously, I couldn't stand this film, from the horrible acting to the clunky dialogue to even the action scenes being boring. And I'm supposed to buy that Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg or Drake and Sully. Yeah, this one was just bad. And quite frankly, the video games, which I have played before in the past, those are more entertaining than this entire movie. Number 4. Alright, the next film on this list, it had pissed me off to a point I really just didn't care. That is Gasoline Alley. Seriously, the acting is horrendous, the whole plot is all over the place. Bruce Willis phones it in, Luke Wilson really didn't give a damn. And quite frankly, everybody else that was in this movie, they didn't even try their best. And literally, I saw this earlier in the year, I was like, yeah, this is going to be in my top 5 easily. I have never been more bored of a film than this one this year because, quite frankly, this movie had promise, but it turned into an absolute nightmare of a movie.
Number 3.
Alright, so this next film was in development hell for years, and quite frankly, I wish it stayed there. That is The King's Daughter. This movie generally pissed me off with the character decisions, the plot, the whole theme of it. Like, what is this shitty movie? Like, I literally wanted to like one aspect of this film, but I just couldn't find anything when this movie released beginning of the year. And quite frankly, this film right here was just a large waste of time. It should generally never saw the light of day.
Number 2.
Alright, this next film on this list, generally it had pissed me off and it had no business existing in the first place. That is Morbius. Seriously, what is this movie? It is so damn ridiculous that I couldn't get behind the whole premise of it all. Sony was like, hey, let's make a movie about one of Spider-Man films, but not have Spider-Man in it. Let's give it horrible acting, editing. And the main matters words, this movie was delayed more than 2 years. Like, generally, I didn't care for this film. I hate every character decision. And quite frankly, I am not looking forward to Kraven the Hunter and Sony should just stop making these movies because it worked for Venom. I like the Venom films, despite how flawed they are. This one right here was just a generally nonsensical, horrible introduction to the character. And it's a movie that also had 2 post-credit scenes that I've seen. And let's just say it's the worst post-credit scenes I've seen in a comic book movie.
Number 1.
And at the number 1 spot is what happens when you take a Disney classic, so all the soul and life of it, well, you get Disney's Pinocchio. Seriously, this movie was so awful, I literally just wanted to turn it off. I was saying that I'm not having a good time with this. And you know what's bad about this film? It's not just the acting. It's not the mere fact that Tom Hanks was just staying around for most of the movie. It's the mere fact that Disney take these classic films and then give us shitty adaptations. Like, literally, it's one of the reasons I'm never looking forward to these films because they have no heart, they have no charm. This movie right here was just downright atrocious on all counts, and quite frankly, I just didn't care at one point. I haven't seen the Toro Pinocchio yet, but I've heard it is way better than this dumpster fire. And there y'all have it. That is my top 10 worst movies of this year. But instead of me repeating the same old stuff I usually do, I just like to say personally thank you to all of you out there. And I can't believe it's been more than 5 years now since I started this YouTube channel. And recently, yeah, I do go in the comment section and it's nothing but positivity. And I just like to say I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. You guys are the reason I still do these YouTube videos. And so personally, I want you guys to go down below in the comment section. Let me know what was your top 10 worst films of this year. You know, it doesn't have to be top 10. It could be more. It could be less. But hey, if you saw less movies this year, I'm talking about when it comes to bad films, then hey, more power to you. Alright, looking forward to 2023 with new movies, both good and bad, coming out. So I will see y'all in the new year. And this is Slim Guy 172 saying, peace out.